From humble beginning.
The growth and evolving.
And the arrival. This is First GenXers.
Poetic beat.
Good evening, Twitch TV on the East Coast, that is. Good afternoon, Twitch TV on the West Coast. I am the one and only Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double, host of the Cheap Pop Podcast, as well as The Classroom and KD5P, and your mini plethora of streams throughout the week. To my left or right, if you're sitting in the right, upside down, maybe below. No, he's right over there. That's Rune Scryer. What's up, bro?
Hey.
Down below me, we got the man with the master plan, the leader and co-founder of First GenXers, the one and only Agent K28. What's up, brother?
Man, what's good, bro? Let's get it cracking, bro. Let's get it cracking.
All right, so I informed the one and only Rune Scryer when he came on. We got to talking about other stuff, so I didn't get a chance to inform Agent K28. But our opening topic of the day is the one and only Godzilla, the New Empire. I managed to be able to watch it today. For those of you who don't know, it is on Twitch. It is on HBO Max right now. You can watch it with the subscription. And I will say this. I walked into the first Godzilla vs. Kong movie, and I walked in with no expectations. I like to do that. Saint knows this. That's why I came up with the movie review that I came up with, because I try to walk in with no expectations, so I therefore have a lesser chance, not zero, but a lesser chance of being disappointed with what's in front of me if I just take it for what it is. So I walked into that first movie with no expectations, and walked out of that movie pleasantly surprised. I was told a story. I got the battle of King Kong and Godzilla. I felt like stories were being told even without dialogue. So, like, overall, I was impressed. I have to say, it's the same thing for this. Solid B plus movie, but I was highly impressed with what I saw. Have either of you seen the movie?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Without a doubt.
So
I
you're
haven't yet, but I've been following the legendary MonsterVerse from 2014 Godzilla when it really started off with everything. Haven't seen Monarch yet, but I want to watch that. I know, yeah. Look, maybe if there weren't like 50 different streaming services, we could focus on one.
That's the fuckery of it, because trust and believe you me, man, and not to get off the Godzilla, movie, but Monarch was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
I
Yeah,
you know
I
because Roxy got me drawn into that shit, and
I
I
got
was like, the only reason that gave faith is because it's Kurt fucking Russell, and
Yeah.
I will watch anything with action when he comes into it. Trust and believe you me, I
well
trust the science, bro.
more
I
well
trust the science.
It's Kurt and Wyatt
Oh yeah,
Russell.
Wyatt, but I mean, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Wyatt Russell, but I'm a Gen Xer,
Oh yeah,
and Big
no,
Trouble and
I
Little China was
and the
still
thing
the
and
landmark movie, and of course, to Escape from New York and Escape from
Escape
L.A.
from
Yeah,
yep,
those are
Both of those,
bombs.
that's Snake fucking Plissken.
yep.
But
Yeah.
the giveaway is, man, the Godzilla movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it
It
Yeah,
was some
is.
good battles in that shit.
I need to. Yeah, I mean, I need to see it. I've liked what they've done with the properties. Um, I'm not a huge kaiju fan. I mean, I got friends who are like absolutely, you know, insane otaku about Godzilla, uh, and they got nothing but good things about everything that's been coming out for related to Godzilla.
Right?
So not just Godzilla minus one or Shin Godzilla, but um, the the whole Godzilla Kong MonsterVerse has been fantastic.
Yeah,
Very well
yeah,
And
done.
so
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
yeah,
I just want to interject something because it was something that caught my eye just the other day. Did you know that Godzilla minus one won an Oscar
oh yeah,
for best special, for the best special effects? And
mhm,
yeah, like I was like, wait a minute, what? And
Well,
then when I looked at the trailer for it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really getting ready to fuck with that movie. And sometime before the week is out, I'm gonna watch that movie.
well, I
right,
can I can tell you this. Like the thing about it was this. I think back to and here's where I'm coming from when I look at the Kong verse or the monster verse right now with Kong. It's I come from well we come from the days of black and white. Well, we don't come from those days. Well, you do, Saint, but we don't. You come
Fuck
from the
you.
of the original Godzilla and seeing how far it's come. When I say seeing how far it's come, I come from the days of the Matthew Broderick, Godzilla takes over New York,
oh,
Godzilla movie.
dude,
That wasn't the best Godzilla movie, but it definitely did. It took a lot from Cloverfield and how it presented Godzilla. Where it was
right,
I know Cloverfield wasn't one of the best movies, but it did a really good job of not really giving you a full scope of what you were dealing with until damn near the end of the movie. And they did the
yeah,
same thing with that Godzilla with that Matthew Broderick movie.
yeah,
And so when you see where they come from that to where Godzilla spent most of this movie in New Empire, full screen, like full length Godzilla walking across your screen, and that to me was like, and it looked good. It didn't look wonky like it did back in the day. It didn't look like a little tinsel town, put
right.
together with popsicle sticks. And then the Godzilla monster going down the down the center street. It was actual like CG, well done animations. Like they destroyed
No,
half of
it
Rome
was
and Paris,
No,
and yeah,
it was really it was really impressive. Like I got the battles, the battles themselves it was just on point,
yep.
yeah.
and man,
I mean,
I liked
yeah. I
it.
mean,
I loved it actually.
I've been casual even before Matthew Broderick. I hey Kev.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a throwback to you. Okay, Channel Two Sundays. Captain. What was it?
Oh man, I can't remember
Really,
the name.
really, jeez, Dave, man.
Yeah, the Bay Area.
It was Captain Cosmic,
Captain Cosmic. That's
and it
right.
was 2T2,
Two
Two
T
T two.
two.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. This was
bro.
70s. Yeah, but they
I'm
it
older
was
than
a,
you, man.
but no, that's I
No,
mean
Shit.
really.
I'd be watching those. I'd be watching those when I was up in the Bay Area with
Yeah.
my grandparents,
The late
and
great Bob Wilkins.
yep, and those were Sunday afternoons, creature feature stuff going on with Godzilla movies, Godzilla and Ultraman stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
And the thing I loved about it, the thing I love about it is that these newer movies keep the similar feel, and to the original. They, like I said, they tell a little bit better of a story, but they, in the sense of the fights between Godzilla and which, because like one of my favorite parts about New Empire is the fact that initially you really don't get much fighting between Kong and Godzilla. This isn't really a Godzilla versus Kong movie.
this is a buddy movie.
Right. This is more like a buddy cop movie. But
Yeah,
I love how while they're telling the whole story of Kong finding the other members of his
family.
race and
Yeah,
his family, you get this story of Godzilla basically wakes up and goes, "Some bad shit's coming. I gotta go prepare."
yeah,
And then it's just him. He's just walking across the earth, finding random shit. Like he walks off, destroys this nuclear power plant just to suck up all the nuclear power from it because he's charging up. Then he goes
right.
and fights this sea demon or the sea kaiju that he can steal all of its energy from it to become nuclear reactor Godzilla with the purple and thing and
Yeah,
all the shit. And like that's just Godzilla's story until he meets up with Kong. Is one day Godzilla wakes the fuck up and goes, "Yeah, something's bad. Something bad's coming.
yeah.
I gotta go power up
Which
for this shit." Like,
it gets into the whole, you know, the different levels that Godzilla tells a story about. I mean, the one that most everyone is like, ooh, big giant monster, guy in rubber suit going stompy stompy, and people fleeing and scared. But even from the beginning, it started out as a allegory of nuclear power
yeah,
and the after effects of having the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, on the collective psyche of the nation.
right,
And then it kept going into um, themes of environmental awareness, of everything being connected to everything else on Earth. And Godzilla, you may not always understand what he's doing, but
there's a purpose to it.
he's doing what is best to protect everything and everyone,
Right,
even if
Agreed.
that's a little bit of destruction at the start.
collateral damage.
So yeah, it's really cool how Legendary kind of brought that back up,
Yeah,
where the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, it was all about the stompy stompy.
right. It's all about
Yeah,
destruction and what
yeah,
he can do there. And now you definitely have a Godzilla with a purpose, and it's definitely like
Wait. Kind of back up because you got to remember, Godzilla 1997 with Matthew Broderick, it was not just about destruction, it was about protection. If
yeah, he
anything,
was protecting
remember,
his babies.
yeah,
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 right.
like,
yeah, his children were buried at the
it's
bottom
like,
of
yeah,
were some for some
yeah,
random ass reason were buried at the bottom of Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Like,
yeah, for some, yeah,
like it was some
exactly, that's
random
my
fucking
point.
reason.
Like,
Like,
here
uh,
comes here comes John Reno, Reno going, we they, we're fucking shit up here. And all of a sudden, yeah, motherfucker, you just killed me. You about to kill my kids.
oh yeah,
Bitch ass.
But
Ah,
counter to that, Godzilla 2014,
yeah, yeah,
the Mutos, they were just trying to protect their own babies
true,
in San Francisco.
true.
okay, that's a given. That's
And
a given.
Yeah,
and I'll give you this. So far, so good with giving us the other kaiju. Because, like, okay,
yeah,
for those who don't know, before Pacific Rim, okay, which to me and in my generation kind of helped popularize the word kaiju, even though it had existed
oh
in the
yeah,
anime world for a very long time, and in the
yeah,
Godzilla world, it kind of popularized it. Like Godzilla, Mothra, like these are all kaiju. Like
Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan,
yeah.
Ghidorah.
And I love the fact that in the new Godzillas they're bringing back a lot of these older kaiju. Like in this particular one, they bring back Mothra,
Hmm.
and they bring her back through somebody that's been a part of the series like since day one. And so
Yeah,
like, or since the first movie, which was the last movie. This is only the second movie, but y'all know what I
yeah.
mean. So, but yeah, and so like, I like the way that they're introducing them, and they're introducing them in cool ways. It's not just like they introduced another one of the kaiju, or another kaiju in New Empire that was being held captive, um, by the bad guy, the Scar King. I forget the name of the kaiju, but like he was an ice kaiju. Like he
Hmm.
sprayed.
Can't remember. I know who. I
Yeah.
think I got the tip of my tongue, but
But here's another
damn.
thing about it. Once again, this brings me to my final subject on this before we'll move on to pop culture corner. And this is, I love that they gave them all personalities, like Godzilla,
Hmm.
Kong, all of, and the bad guy kaiju. Like
Right.
he's fighting with Godzilla until he realizes that basically Godzilla and Kong have the upper hand, and he's no longer being like held captive by the bad guy. And
Hmm.
he looks at Godzilla and he's like, "Oh yeah, fuck that guy."
I'm out.
And he starts going after the bad guy too. Like it's just hilarious because they take that moment to show you him kind of look at Godzilla like, "Am I gonna go fight you? I'm free now. Am I gonna go fight you?
Right.
Nah, this dude."
Well,
And they give it to him.
they were even doing that in Godzilla King of the Monsters
Yeah.
when they unleashed all the Titans. I mean, because
Uh,
you see Mothra is Godzilla's ride or die thing
yeah.
in there.
She's like, "I got you
Okay,
no matter what, dude." Yep.
right,
Uh,
and you see that rivalry between Godzilla and Rodan in there, where Rodan's like, "Yeah, I'm going to stab you in the back," and you just took out the main guy. Fuck, I'll bend the knee. Okay, sure.
for sure. For sure. All right, fellas. So that's our opening topic. We start out hot as always,
Yeah.
and we take it into Pop Culture Corner. It's where we talk everything pop culture, with an exception for WWE wrestling, which we talk about in SmackDown Alley. So, we are back now. All right, fellas. I'll leave the floor to you guys to kick us off. Anything from you guys for Pop Culture Corner?
Okay, so I gave Dark Lord a little taste of this before we went on, but it's summer, and in comic book land, that means it's summer event time. The big, huge, company-wide plot lines going on, and with DC, it's um, why can't I remember the name of it now? Oh God. Oh, hold on a second. Let me double check my sources.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I'm
Absolute
because
Power.
Yes.
DC is Absolute Power. So that just kicked off
Mm,
with Absolute Power number one.
okay.
And on the surface, it's Amanda Waller, everyone's favorite badass government bureaucrat, taking out all the superheroes. But they literally open up Absolute Power number one with a bang.
Literally.
Literally. Okay? Metropolis, nighttime, robbery happening. Okay? Superman shows up. Bunch of punks in ski masks. And Superman's doing this. Yeah, you guys might want to surrender. This isn't going to go so well for you. In there.
okay. Hang on a
Punching.
second.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and I want to welcome in Dr. Dave Priest. I usually tap in to her show on Sundays. Yeah, you didn't broadcast this morning. What's up with that, lady? What's up with that?
Hey.
But yeah, she's it's welcome. I definitely appreciate you tapping in. But continue,
Yeah.
continue, sir.
So Superman's doing his like, yeah, yes, you're just gonna go down and everything. And dude in the ski mask is all like, no, no, this is supposed to work. No, I told you, I can't go back. I'm not going back. Flap, 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 flap. Unloads his gat on last son of Krypton. Superman's like, ha ha ha. Bullet hits and goes through Superman. And he's just like, huh?
Wait a
And
minute.
falls from the
Is
sky.
this out now? Is this out
This is
now?
out now.
I need to go pick that up
Yes,
because
sir.
I'm definitely gonna have to
Yeah.
because anytime Amanda Waller is a villain, like she is like
Oh yeah.
on Superman, because you guys been watching
My Adventures with
My
Superman.
Adventures with Superman?
No,
I've been
no.
keeping up with it, but yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But
Nigga.
here's the thing: Amanda Waller is going full on Lex Luthor territory. She's just not taking down the supes. She is taking control of the entire planet. She is depowering every Superman or every superhero by using Amazo technology. And at the same time, she's using Brainiac technology to control the entire telecommunications internet
Dang.
grid.
No, that's some age stage fuckery right there. Sorry,
Yeah, exactly.
but no.
And that gets into my point. Now, it's a cool idea, but Waller's that character where she may straddle the line between Side of the Angels and Luther, but she never fully goes full Luther.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
here, she's doing that. And so but no, she's taking control of everything.
Well,
She, she's putting
well, it
herself.
depends. Well, it depends because it kind of depends on the version you think about it because, as far as I'm concerned, when it came to the DCEU, I mean,
Nothing against Viola Davis,
yeah.
but CCH Pounder in the DC animated universe,
No, but
that
I'm
is
just talking
yeah.
about no, I'm just talking about the attitude because
Oh
as
yeah,
far as
yeah,
I was concerned, she was full Lex Luthor.
yeah.
Like she didn't no she gave zero F's.
Yeah.
But
Like,
that,
and that,
but she still respected a certain chain of command. In other
I'm
words,
sorry, when you get arrested and you're in jail,
yeah,
yeah,
she's the top of that. She is the top of her pyramid.
Right.
She doesn't automatically leap into the top of the government pyramid
Yeah.
and usurp the president, usurp everyone else. She
mhm.
has powers that allow her to make this executive decisions, but she's not all of a sudden taking over everything.
Fair,
Yeah.
Okay,
fair enough.
that's my point. And this gets into one of the problems with summer events for both Marvel and DC, in that they have these huge climactic storylines
And
that
then
get
they
resolved and no one ever and they never come back to it. Like,
Yeah.
remember how everyone was feeling when Captain America got shot in Civil War? Yeah, everyone's all crying. There's the struggle. Who's going to be the next Cap? All
Uh,
that, and then next year, literally next summer, Steve's back. Hey,
well,
how's it going,
well,
guys?
well, that takes that's the same thing that happened about 30 years ago. Well, I'll say about 30 to 32 years ago with the fucking Clone Saga with Spider-Man and then with the with the X-Men and all of that and
Yep,
so forth and
yep,
all those die cast cut 3D special card with a
yeah,
glow in
yeah,
the
yeah,
dark card and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
during that era, I hated those summer events.
And it's the same. It's the same thing with Krakoa.
Yeah.
That X Men just finished up with. It's like we're going back to the status quo. It's like, how the fuck are you going back to the status quo with X Men? How the hell are you expecting average people to
To
deal
not,
with
yeah.
mutants after the shit they just pulled? Okay, mutants, it's not just mutants left Earth, colonized Mars, had their own homeworld finally. It's like, yay, we're separate now. We can live our own lives. No, they had to go and do some extreme fuckery on Earth. They had to get
Extreme
they
fucker.
had to get world leaders in
He said extreme.
medicine.
Uh,
I mean, am I wrong on this?
No, no,
no, no,
nowhere
no, you're not
near.
wrong.
No,
But
not wrong at all.
they had to they had to
You
create
you just had to
targeted.
use the extreme. That's extreme fuckery,
It
bro.
is. It
Yeah,
is. Hey, the man's
it
right.
is.
All right.
They had to create they had to create addictive medicines to hook all the leaders of the world on. They had to create targeted genomic viruses, not just to take out humans, but to take out specific humans,
Yeah.
specifically
Okay.
the loved ones of political leaders. Okay, how the hell are we supposed to have anything resembling what the status quo used to be, as bad as it was for mutants? Okay, I'm not saying that everything was sunshine and roses. X-Men has always been about defending a world that fears and hates them,
Yeah.
but you just came off a story arc where you literally justified all the talking points of the friends of of humanity, the right, all the anti-mutant bigots. You literally just justified all those talking points,
Yeah. Well, wasn't that the
and
struggle
now you're
always?
trying just and you're now just trying to go back to how things were, even as bad as they were for mutants.
Well, but wasn't that always the struggle between Professor X and Magneto in the first place? Is that Professor X was trying to build a positive relationship with humans, and Magneto consistently and persistently kept verifying or confirming their worst fears about mutants.
Exactly.
Like that was
Yeah.
constantly a struggle where like Charles is like, we're not that bad, and
But you
Magneto's
see,
over here like, yeah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna rip six people's heads off, like
Yeah.
just
yeah,
because I can.
but
Like not to say like not to that extreme, but I'm saying like that was always a back and forth between the two of them of
right.
Magneto confirming what Charles was trying to say wasn't true.
But at the same time, what I saw as the beauty of the Krakoa era is that it literally showed that that Charles wasn't wholly right,
Yeah.
Magneto wasn't wholly right. It took a combination of those visions, plus it took Emma Frost's economic independence vision.
Yeah.
It combined all three of those because mutants had political power, they had their own homeland, they had everything that they needed to be a separate society
Well,
interacting with Earth on an equal level.
Yeah.
okay.
And
Well, I mean,
then
it was
they
just like
had
the
to,
House of M.
right, and then they had to add in all this added shit, all this added controls. I mean, let's face it, when you're going to give mutants complete amnesty, no matter what they've done, and welcome Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, Sabretooth, you're going to welcome them with open arms into your society and say, yeah, welcome to your extradition free zone.
No, sir.
Congratulations.
All right.
You
So
know,
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
so of
so
course,
well,
and of course it ends up Sinister betrays them. Of course it's going to happen.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
sinister. Like, what do you
what's
expect from a man named Mister Sinister? Um,
exactly? I mean,
like that'd be like being
it's
surprised
right
you got
there in the
stabbed.
fucking game.
Exactly. Like that'd be like getting stabbed and being wondering why you got stabbed by a dude named Stabby McStabby. And he was holding a knife when he walked up to you. What did you think was going to be the end result of that scenario? But
Exactly.
but no, I bring that. I listen to you guys talk about this, and it brings a question to mind that we can kind of talk about to close out this segment
Sure.
before we go into our commercial break. We all know that, and Saint, this is one of the rare times in which you will hear me say something like this. But from a comic book standpoint, even beyond the Infinity War, DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths is one of the best multi-comic story, like world affecting storylines that's been put out there. And there's been tons of them. Like this is anybody that
Hands
thinks that, yeah, like hands
hands
down.
down.
Now hold on.
Hands
Now let me
down.
finish my statement. Now, or not statement, but the question. That being said, so we're going to remove Crisis from Infinite Earths from this conversation. We understand that is one of the basic pillars, if not the pillar, of multi comic world changing storytelling. For me, number two is Age of Apocalypse. And here's why.
Okay, I'll give you that.
First and foremost, I'm a mark for Marvel and X-Men in general. But Age of Apocalypse to me was one that it was different than Crisis on Infinite Earths, because Crisis on Infinite Earths presented this universe threatening villain that just had to be taken care of by all of your superheroes from the different universes, so on and so forth. Whereas Age of Apocalypse just said, hey, what if this happened differently? And witnessing the ripple effects of that one thing, the X-Men do not defeat Apocalypse, witnessing the ripple effect across the entire universe that was amazing. Like I said, I bought every comic book as it came out. There were basically basically a 4 episode run with, like, I think it was Generation Next, the original X-Men, what was it, X-Force. It was basically all of the X comic books got affected. And they generated some new characters in Scott Summers, or not Scott Summers, what was his name? Yeah, it was Scott Summers, the X-Man. No, it wasn't Scott.
Yes,
Nate
X-Men,
Summers.
Nate,
Yeah,
alternate version of Cable. Yeah.
yeah. And so, like, and I like the fact that they brought him over to the new universe when they finished up with the Age of Apocalypse series, is that they brought him over as an actual character in the new universe. I liked his growth story. I liked everything about it. I like the fact that even in X-Men 97, the new version on Disney, they incorporated the whole thing with Magneto and Rogue ending up together, because Magneto was could create a magnetic field around himself that didn't allow Rogue to take his powers, so he could actually physically touch her. Great that storyline long before X-Men 97 was a part of the Age of Apocalypse storyline, and they had a child together as well.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, just the way that it kind of encapsulated within itself, it didn't bring a lot back over when they kind of reset everything back to, its original form. It was just kind of this story told within itself.
Right.
And to me, it was an amazing one. So your guys' thoughts on Age of Apocalypse being basically the second best world-altering kind of story to be told?
You know, I think I see your point, and that's fine. My greater point is that this is a limitation, not with the comic book medium, but with the big two, DC and Marvel. Okay? In that no matter what happens, no matter the stakes, no matter what, the status quo has to be returned to, no matter what's going on.
No.
Okay?
No matter how crazy the event, no matter what.
Right,
Yeah.
no matter what. And that damages the immersion, for me at least.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, I understand, every so often you'll hear people complaining about, well, Batman's a billionaire. Why doesn't he use that money to help out Gotham? And I understand both sides of that argument. And my response is that he does. He funds so many social programs, so many
The
job
Waynes.
creation programs,
Yeah.
so many, neighborhood rehabilitation programs. But that's not action.
Yeah.
And so no matter what Bruce Wayne or Batman do, no matter what those two personalities do, it's just Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill.
Yeah.
Gotham City will never change because once you change, you have to come up with something else for the premise.
Right.
You know,
I don't
same
know.
thing, same
I don't know
thing
the flat.
with Metropolis.
What's up?
I mean,
But even you're going to say Flashpoint.
well, no, I was gonna say, well, I mean, Bruce Wayne cleaned up Gotham in the
Yeah.
Flash movie. So I mean,
Well,
it's something had. I mean, something had
We're
to
not
change
talking about we're
somewhere.
not
well,
talking about the Snyderverse. We're not even going to go there.
well.
Okay, that's a
Here's here.
whole other level of you know deep end of the shit pool. Okay,
Well, here's the thing for me, and this is what I was thinking to myself is like you said, they've established on multiple different occasions and multiple different versions of Batman that the Waynes, his father, his mother, and himself definitely contribute financially to the community around them in Gotham.
yeah,
They definitely do put their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
right.
But to me, the necessity for Batman comes back to if you've ever watched the series Gotham, the Gotham thought process, and multiple other places it's been shared that guys like the Joker himself, is an idea. This is like the reason why Batman continuously puts the Joker away and the Joker always comes out. It's not always because the Joker breaks out. Yeah, that's how they explained it early on, but later on it was like, no, the Joker is more of an idea. So literally anybody can be the Joker. They just have to go crazy enough. And so this is why the Batman Joker back and forth will never end because
Right.
there will always be slums in Gotham. There will always be a situation that will incubate and cause another Joker, another Penguin, another so on and so forth. There will always be a situation that will arrive one of those, or not necessarily specifically one of those villains, but a villain to arise for there to be a need for Batman. Regardless of how much money the Waynes pump into the city and into rehabilitation projects,
Right.
the city itself will always be an incubator that will turn out a rogues gallery of villains. It may not always be a Joker, it may not always be a Penguin, but it will be somebody.
Well,
And
no, well,
go ahead.
I'm thinking because I'm sitting up here like you got a point, but then I think about the story of injustice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we know that, and I mean, for those that don't know about of course, the Injustice video game, but I mean, it was the comics, the
Yeah.
same thing. You got to remember that Joker killed shit well over 2 million
Mil-
people
Yeah,
in Metropolis when the bomb went off,
Yeah.
and it was an accidental thing because he got, Superman got hit with some, or I could be, yeah, hit with some red kryptonite or some other kind of kryptonite, and he thought he was looking at Doomsday, and
yeah,
he
Yeah.
took his wife into space, and she was pregnant,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it kind of, yeah, and like, yeah,
Well,
But
that
and
storyline was
and
going. Sorry.
but
but
what I'm saying
yeah,
is that Joker, is Joker is always going to be that paradox, but no matter, he's always gonna go over the line. Okay,
Oh yeah.
about the one time you got to think about it.
yeah,
He killed Jason Todd.
Well, yeah, but
Check, you know.
that's kind of backing up the point I'm making about the state of the city of Gotham will always be able to
right,
produce a Joker type villain because
right.
the situation is enough that it will drive someone crazy. We're going there.
And but there is an actual in comics story
Right.
that can provide a real canon reason why Gotham is the way that it is.
Yeah.
The original Arkham Asylum limited series, where we find out that Gotham is basically it's a cursed city.
Yeah.
It's built on cursed land,
Okay. Okay.
and it that Arkham Asylum specifically is the key on that.
Okay.
It's built on the keystone of that curse, and for me, that makes it much more of an interesting reason for why Gotham is the way that it is,
Yeah.
because then it's like, yeah, Batman's never going to beat this.
Right.
He's only going to be able to keep going. But and it explains why all the all the plans, the good ideas, the good work, why they all will ultimately fail in there, aside from maintaining the status quo.
Gotcha.
And more importantly, it also expands Gotham a little bit because
Hmm.
there's a ton of characters that DC could have in Gotham regularly
Right.
that just do guest stints. You know, John Constantine, Zatanna, um, uh, Doctor Occult, Doctor 13, all these mystic investigator types. They fit right in with a cursed city setting like Gotham.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The demon showing up more. But for some reason, DC they did it for it was Alan Moore wrote Arkham Asylum, I think. I can't remember exactly who it was. I know it was one of the big writers in the '80s who did Arkham Asylum, but yeah, but they did it once and then they dropped it, and
Yeah, that's kind of frustrating.
it's never really been brought back up, and that's the problem that I see with Marvel and DC. It's too many things that get picked up and dropped. They get picked up because they're cool at the time,
Yeah.
and then they get dropped because they can't figure out how, even when it supports the idea of returning to the status quo, they can't figure out how to sustain that. They
Well,
just won't.
I like the idea of, and this will kind of be our closing point to this,
Yeah.
but I like the idea of the multiverse, and what I mean by that is using the multiverse as a mechanism to allow these events to happen, but give a reason for why universe number one is not affected by it.
Right.
This happened in universe number 5. This happened in universe 617. And I like the mechanism, but I do agree with you in the fact that it can be overused.
Right.
It can be overused to the point where they just expect you to mentally wipe it away and chalk it up to, okay, this happened in a different universe, rather than
Marvel's
actually
What If.
asking the question of, yeah, basically Marvel's What If.
Yeah.
And so because like the What If series, a lot of people don't realize this, but the Age of Apocalypse storyline basically started out as a What If series.
Right.
um,
Exactly.
but in general, yeah, like I think that I agree with you from the angle of the multiverse mechanism is used almost entirely too much by comics to get out of holes that they dig themselves into.
Yeah. One last thing. So my favorite multiverse story. What if I can't remember the issue, but it was for the 25th anniversary of Secret Wars.
Mm.
What if the heroes never came back from Secret Wars, and we literally have everyone still stuck on Battle World 25 years after they never got home. They
Yeah.
formed families,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And you had this whole new generation of kids who were trying to live up to their heroic. I mean, downside, the alien costume eventually completely consumes Peter Parker. It's literally Spider-Man in that is literally just the black costume with Peter's skeleton inside of it. It's like,
Damn.
yeah, that's just like But yeah, Captain America getting together with Rogue, who has the Carol Danvers persona now permanently in there. So their daughter, Crusader, okay, Sarah Rogers, okay, Captain Marvel's strength and power, Captain America's leadership and innate moral compass with
Sounds
her
like
dad's with her dad's shield,
Mm,
and she's worthy to lift Mjolnir,
nice.
and she uses it.
By birth, she's worthy.
Yeah,
All right,
and
Saint.
it's great.
All right, Saint. Close us out, and then we'll hit the commercial break.
Well, not much. It's not much a big deal. Pretty much. I was just gonna talk a little bit about what a lot of folks are missing, and there's this new miniseries on Netflix called Super Sale, and I promise you, eh, I'll put it to you this way: go watch it.
Okay.
It's SUPACEECELL. I did it in a day, and yeah,
There you go.
it's some real serious shit. I will tell you that. That's just about it.
Right there you go.
That's my shit. Yeah.
All right. So recommended by Saint. All right. So let's give it a block. Thank y'all for joining us for this first, about 45 minutes to an hour Cheap Pop Podcast. We are red hot, and we are about to come back after about a 3-minute commercial break, and we will come immediately back with SmackDown Alley, where we're going to talk a little bit about Money in the Bank, bang,
No.
bang.
You got to keep it.
All right, I got to use the restroom. I'll be right
Keep it.
back.
You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I've been real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep it.
This is now versus then. 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 This is now versus then.
You getting on my nerves. You getting on my nerves. Gang, gang, bitch. You getting on my nerves. You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I've been real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep it.
There we go. So I'm muting me. What's up, y'all? So this next segment is going to be just me and Saint for right now. We'll be bringing back
Yep,
Room
yep.
Squire a little bit later. But this is, oh, there he is. Or right now. This is Smackdown Alley. Anyway, and we are going to talk about, and I know this is the worst possible way you could say it, but I'm going to say it like that anyway. And that is, we are going to talk about big sweaty men wearing very small outfits and grabbing on each other. And that's going to be the WWE PLE from recently. Oh, that all rhymed. I'm a poet and didn't even know it. How do you know? Well, I'll say, and we're going to be talking about Money in the Bank. Now, the Raw and SmackDown leading up to this week's Money in the Bank were pretty good. Had some good like build up for. I thought that the build up on SmackDown for the Money in the Bank pay per view was done very well, but the pay per view itself had a lot to talk about. Like first and foremost, we'll open up with the subject, Saint, of the Money in the Bank briefcase. They opened up with the men's Money in the Bank briefcase, which was won by Drew McIntyre, DM Punk.
Yeah. Brought to you by Vought.
Pretty much. And I disagreed with this decision a lot. Not mad, not going to go on the internet and bash people, but I didn't like it. I thought it should have been Jey Uso. I thought that it was his time. It would have been the right mechanism to get him into the world title picture, and I thought that he was the right person to win this year. Like, I think that would have went really over well with the crowd.
Yeah, I think that also to me was kind of upsetting because Jay Uso. I mean, let's just face the facts. He's an Uso. He's from the Bay, represent, and I'm kind of biased, but yeah, I was definitely with Jay winning this one. I didn't even think okay, Drew McIntyre was like, okay, but it kind of was like it was just kind of fucked up for me.
Yeah. Like it was,
yeah.
Well, in the way it went down.
So
all
the other matches, to me, all the other matches sat well with me, with the exception of with the exception. And I, like, we had spoken earlier, I do believe that that kind of was a waste of the money in the bank
Well,
for
we're
2024.
gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. We got to get to that world heavyweight title thing first. Uh,
The
before we
cash
get
in,
there, yeah,
sorry.
we got to get to before we can get to the cash in. All right, so Drew wins that. The next match up is a match that I thought was very interesting, not only because of the way the story was told going into the match, but also because of the way that everything played out. The next match was Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. Um, this was a toss-up match for me in general when it came to predicting it or who I wanted to win, Heart versus Head. Um, my head knew it was too early for Sammy to drop the belt, but my heart wouldn't have minded seeing Braun Breaker win the belt. I'm a huge fan of his father. Steiner Math is one of my favorite promos ever, and I wouldn't have been mad had Braun Breaker won. But evidently Triple H and the boys decided this wasn't his time.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on the
Well,
Intercontinental title match?
well, it's like I said, it was a toss up either way it goes for me, because it's like, for right now, I honestly believe that Chad Gable should be wearing that right now, but that's neither here nor there. Um,
There's an argument can be made for that.
yeah. Um, that wasn't really that wasn't like a big issue for me on that. I mean,
Yeah.
Braun Breaker is really one of the new talented guys that's just, he's in there just like busting motherfuckers up,
Yeah.
and like, and having their way with him. I mean, he ran through NXT, like, he ran through everybody in NXT, and he gave zero fucks on whose way he was in. So it was like, I'm going that way.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. And like
Going
I
that
said,
way.
it would have been nice to see him win, but Sammy winning definitely is okay with me as well. He definitely deserves to hold the belt for a little bit longer. It's a little too soon for him to drop that belt. The next match after that is the one that Saint was referring to. Remember, this was only a 5 match pay per view, and that included 2 Money in the Bank matches.
And he
Uh,
started early.
yeah, it started at 3:30. I actually ended up missing almost the first hour because I didn't sign on till like 4:25, thinking that it didn't start till 5. But anyway, um, the next match is the match that Saint was talking about when we talk about a waste of the Money in the Bank contract, because basically you had a great match between Seth Rollins and Damian Priest. Of course, those two men are amazing wrestlers. Uh, and you had it interrupted towards the end by after a controversial botch, by the way, by the ref. We actually counted the 3, and Seth should have won. But Damian Priest comes, or not Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre comes out and cashes in the Money in the Bank. Now, here's where it's funny. The ref counted to 3. Everybody actually thought Seth had won, and then Drew comes out, cashes in his Money in the Bank, and they announce that it's a triple threat match, meaning the ref 1, 2, 3, I guess, didn't count. I don't know. Man. It was a fake out maybe. I don't know. But and so we get the triple threat.
I
Drew,
think I think
Drew,
he should have won. I think
hold,
he would have
hold on,
won.
hold on. And then Drew goes to hit Steph, or not Steph, but Seth with a whatchamacallit. He hits Damian Priest with a Claymore. He goes to hit Seth with the Claymore, and he's attacked by CM Punk. CM Punk then proceeds to beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre and take him completely out the match, only to put him back in the ring, hit him with the belt, and allow Damian Priest to win it. Now, there's multiple things here. First and foremost, Seth Rollins said that if he loses to Damian Priest, he never gets a chance at the title again while Priest is champ. That's one angle on it. Punk screws McIntyre again. Here's where me and Saint agree, and we talked about this earlier, and what he was bringing up earlier, which is it was a waste to utilize the Money in the Bank as a mechanism in the Punk Drew McIntyre storyline. You could have came to the same result without using the Money in the Bank. You could have just had Drew McIntyre force Adam Pearce to put him in the match and do it that way, and then have Punk screw him. But you could have used the Money in the Bank briefcase to elevate another wrestler while at the same time continuing the Drew McIntyre CM Punk. You did not need it within that. So Saint, your thoughts on this use of the title.
All right, real quick. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the greatest from South Central. What's good, bro?
What is up? What is
Um,
up?
I'm gonna say this. You know, we know that this is coming to, this was coming to fruition because I knew CM Punk was gonna show up as soon as Drew McIntyre cashed in. We know that was gonna happen, but this was not a great use to cash in.
Yeah.
Um, Jay should have won. I mean, I'm sorry, not Jake, but Damian Priest probably should have won, hands down. Um, there's really no reason. There was really no reason to be any even interfering
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
for
they could
that.
have
I,
done.
I I I just felt no. I just felt that if he was gonna cash it in, I mean, cash it in at the fucking SummerSlam, dude. Don't cash it
Well,
in
I
at the same night
I'm gonna say
unless you
this.
know you had an advantage.
I'm
And
gonna say this.
he didn't have an advantage.
I don't think
He
he
didn't
should
have
have.
an advantage.
I don't think he should have cashed it in. Not because he should have cashed it in at SummerSlam, because here's the deal. No matter where that belt landed, Gunther's winning the belt at SummerSlam. Like that. Understand it. Gunther and Nia Jax are your next two women's champ and world heavyweight champ. They just are. Just understand it. That's gonna from now on. That's gonna come with winning the King of the Ring.
And then how long is he
It-
gonna hold how long is he gonna hold the title?
I think with Gunther, he's going to hold that world heavyweight title until WrestleMania at earliest. I think you're looking at a long run with Gunther. I think that's what the whole IC title thing. That's what the whole keeping him off TV, so you're not wearing people out on him before he actually wins the title, is coming from, and that's where you're allowing Damian Priest to focus on other things. But those are booking decisions, so on and so forth. But anyway, at the end of the day, yeah, I think that just giving it to McIntyre in general. I think if you're going to have Punk screw him out of anything, you should have had Punk screw him out of the briefcase itself. You should have had Punk come in when he was about to hit Jay with the ladder in his face, and have Punk come in at that point and take him out and stop him from winning it. And Jay wins the title, but Jay doesn't cash in that night. Jay cashes in
Okay.
down the road. So, but
All
anyway,
right.
okay. So that was what we were talking about with that. Damian Priest walks away with the world heavyweight title. The next match after that was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and it was a great match. It was amazing watching what these girls do. Again, I bring up again, and I don't want to sound creepy, but I love Lyra Valkyria. She's like amazing. Her energy, just her move set, she's awesome. But between her, Io Sky, friggin' Chelsea Green of all people had a really good spot with Naomi that I liked. Naomi and all of that. Tiffany Stratton really, to me, throughout the course of the match, didn't really stand out as much as other women did, but I'm glad that she won. I definitely think she is a deserving champion in regards to the money, or not champion, but a deserving winner in regards to Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I just
Like
don't think she looked that strong in the match. But go on ahead, say.
well, like I was saying, like I kind of knew it, Tiffany Stratton. I kind of knew it was.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Naomi would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I was looking at Zoe Stark,
Yeah,
for
as a-
for the
definitely a threat.
possibility. Yeah, Valkyria, she's a little newer, but Tiffany Stratton, but just for some reason, like she done pulled off some off the hook moves that I just I just think that she should have probably be having her time, her time, and then we got another good heel because
Yeah.
she's definitely she's like I can't stand her, but I love her skill, and when she does some smart, when she does those backflips
Mhm.
and dropping in and doing swantons, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
would definitely say again. I like her.
Yeah.
I like the way she plays her role as a villain, and I definitely enjoy her. I just like I said, I don't know if I would have booked it that way. Like I probably would have booked it a lot differently. I probably would have booked it with a Naomi or a Lyra or somebody like that winning. But Tiffy earned it, and definitely. Okay, so
Tiffy time.
Tiffy
and all this
time.
stuff.
So before we get to the main event, another big announcement that was made was that the one and only Mr. Peacemaker himself, Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect himself, will be retiring in the near future. He didn't announce his retirement. He announced a retirement tour, which is so John Cena. I love it. Instead of it just being a one-off match, instead of him kicking off a feud with somebody that will lead to his retirement match, John Cena came out and made an announcement that next year in WWE he is going to be appearing in about 40 events. He's going to be actively on Raw, SmackDown, so on and so forth. He's already announced he's going to be on the debut Raw on Netflix, and that he's going to be at Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. He's like, these will all be his last of the big ones. But it's not going to
I
end
can
with
tell you though,
WrestleMania. He's going to actually go through December of next year. So
exactly
expect to
because
see it.
well,
Expect.
you know,
What's up?
every year he has done SmackDown every year the last week
Yeah.
of the year every year. So
Yeah.
I just think that he's going to do the same thing.
Well, he's like I said, he's got plans. There's plenty of different routes that they can go with this. Like the guy, like I said, I personally want them to sneak in another championship run so that he finishes his career with 17, and I think that's the plan. At some point, I don't necessarily think it's going to be going into WrestleMania. I don't think he's going to have one of the higher profile matches at WrestleMania, but we will see. But in general, I personally want to say is as much as I hated John Cena when he first started uh, wrestling, as much as I hated him, Five Moves of Doom, I made that comment a bunch of times. You know, like you can't wrestle. I've made that comment a bunch of times. And if you go listen to the old episodes of the Raw Impact Unleashed, it was around that time when about 10, 12 years into Cena's career, I started gaining a new respect for him. And started watching him expand his moveset as far as wrestling, you know, which showed to me that he was listening when the people on the internet and everybody else kept saying you can't wrestle, and added a springboard stunner and various different moves. Got rid of the
Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yeah, he did the Doctor of Thugonomics thing. He laughs at himself, which is something that's huge to me. Like John Cena in general, you can't write the story of pro wrestling from beginning to now without John Cena. At least for WWE/F. Like you cannot write that story without including John Cena. And so I'm gonna enjoy this next year. I'm gonna enjoy his last run, and I'm gonna enjoy watching him walk away damn near at the top of his game. So any last words before we move on to video game reviews here, Saint? Oh yeah, well, sorry, we got
No.
the main event to talk about too. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Let's
now-
discuss this match.
No, well, this match
because,
to me, I enjoyed it. Again, I'm going to say this one more time for the people who are not listening in the back, who complain about the Bloodline storyline. If you like the movie The Godfather, you should be enjoying everything that you're seeing with the Bloodline storyline, because you're basically watching The Godfather happen in wrestling storyline. And I like this chapter. You had to get Solo into that World Heavyweight or into that WWE Universal title picture somehow, and to me, this was the perfect way to do it.
Okay,
But-
so what are we going to try to do here?
Oh, I think that we're going to end up seeing. I think at SummerSlam we're going to end up seeing Cody versus Solo for the title, and I think Roman comes back at SummerSlam. But I think Solo loses, or I think Solo loses the title or loses to Cody at SummerSlam. Cody continues on, but Cody wins because Solo gets distracted by Roman Reigns. Because I think at this point, per storyline, Solo has convinced himself that Roman is not coming back. So when Roman's music hits at SummerSlam, that's going to be that moment for Solo where he's like, "Oh no," and my all this shit's thing it was about to catch up to me, type thought process, and we're going to get Roman back, and then we're going to
That's gonna
begin the
be
Bloodline Civil War
that's
feud.
gonna be that's gonna be the biggest, tremendous pop ever when when this um when this shit jumps
Yep.
off with Roman Reigns because he hadn't been around since WrestleMania, and Solo Sokoa then
I'm going to say it like
came
this.
in and done bought in half of the other families because there's one more,
Well, I say
there's another one that's
I go ahead.
6'8".
Yeah, he's coming.
No, I'm saying,
Tala Tonga
yeah,
is coming. Well, I say, but at the end of the day, it's like, look, man, I people can be mad about Solo all they want. I like what Solo is doing. Like it's like this. Again, you're watching a form of The Godfather be told. In mafia mob movies, you always had during the original storyline with the bloodline, you always had that one dude who was a little bit off. He is looking to take control. He looked like he had the drive and the gear. That was Solo. Now Solo's taking his shot with Roman gone. And Solo's bringing in his guys. Now his guys are the crazy motherfuckers that Roman would have never let in the bloodline. Would have never let any of these motherfuckers in the bloodline because they were just too violent and too over the top for him and what he was trying to do. And so you're gonna get this bloodline civil war that was similar to, like I said, the family civil war within the Godfather. Of you're gonna get this Solo wants that top spot. He wants that head of the table. He's kind of shoved himself into that position. Roman still never gave it up. He just lost the championship. And so there's going to be a discussion. Now, I think the X factor in it all will be The Rock. Because at this point, there's no telling where The Rock signs. A lot of people think The Rock is going to end up being the hidden leader of the new bloodline. I don't think so. I think Rock is going to end up rolling with OG bloodline, and I think there's going to be an interesting story as to why. But we'll get to that
okay,
later. We'll get to that
okay,
later.
then, okay,
What's up?
then I'll just say this then because and I had just a thought. Let's just remember Paul Heyman. That's it. Paul Heyman, because as far as I'm concerned, seriously, I do not honestly believe that this is definitely not going to be this is definitely going to be avenged. I'm just wondering who's gonna do it because I don't think it should be Roman. I think somebody's gonna come out of the wire at the bloodline and come from another angle.
Here's the thing about it. You, the thing that you're talking about is the exact mistake that they made with the NWO. Is instead of keeping the NWO self-encompassed, eventually by the time they got done with the NWO, everybody that was on the WC roster was a member of of a portion of a faction of the
Of the
NWO.
NWO.
That I don't think Triple H wants to do that with the bloodline. I think the people that are going to be involved in this bloodline storyline, even with the avenging of Paul Heyman, are all going to come from the Anoa'i family line. So if you look at it like that, the only person to come back and avenge him. Now, I can see this. If they're planning on doing the Paul Heyman avenge storyline pre-War Games at whatchamacallit, then you bring in a Brock Lesnar, then you bring in a CM Punk, etc., to come and avenge him just to tie up the new bloodline for a little bit longer until Roman can come back. But if you bring Roman back at SummerSlam to begin to set up the Civil War storyline, there's no reason to bring in anybody else to avenge Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman was Roman's wise man, and so it would make sense for Roman to be the one to come back and within the Anoa'i family avenge him. But we'll see how that all
Okay,
plays
that's a
out.
given.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a given.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But all
That's a
right,
given.
so we're gonna take Dave off mute, and bring him back into the conversation. and
I didn't even know he was on mute. He was
I
just
put
like,
myself on mute. Nobody puts me on mute. Damn it.
Nobody sits baby in the corner, right?
That's
That's a pop
right.
culture reference that many of y'all are probably too young to get. But let's go
nobody
straight into
sits
what is my
baby in the
favorite
corner.
part, which is reviews. Live streams, the cheap pop game reviews. All right, and we are back. All right, so guys, I'll let you take over the beginning part of this and tell me what games are on your mind right now.
well, Dave, you're at it, bro.
Okay. Um, Something that just came up. Um, and it's not a new game because how long has Skyrim been out?
Jesus Christ, man, woo.
13 years?
I was a young man when Skyrim came
Yeah.
out.
Dude, I was well, I'm not gonna say I was a young man in Skyrim, but
Okay.
my kids, my youngest son, no, my middle son was playing Skyrim when he was still in high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was back in like 2013, 2014. So
But I think it was,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's been about 13 years or so. Um, Somebody um, just discovered something that's always been in Skyrim but has never been noticed before.
Okay.
The lockpicking mechanism.
Hmm.
When
Is
your
that so?
lockpick breaks,
Uh.
it makes a different sound based on how close to the sweet spot the pick is.
That's interesting.
13 years later,
And somebody
this is
finally figured this out.
someone figured this out. And this has always been in the game. I mean,
That's well, yeah. I can see I can see something definitely. I could definitely see something of that on a 13, like on some 13 years later shit because
right.
yeah,
But just the level of incidental detail that you just don't notice that ends up having actual impact on the gameplay.
That's
And
insane.
it is. And, again, that's one of the reasons why, while there have been a lot of people that have been down on Starfield, I'm not down on it
Yeah.
because I see the potential for this game 10, 15 years down the line.
When they
I
actually get
mean,
it, yeah.
right.
now that the Creation Club is available for both PC and Xbox, and creations are coming out both officially from Bethesda and from modders for Starfield, the entire narrative's changed. It's like, yeah, this game is really fun now.
Yeah, true.
And so, yeah, so again, that's going to affect me like I was hinting at last time. I'm thinking of expanding slash constraining my night shift broadcasts to where I have 4 broadcasts a week. 2 of them are Eden Chronicles, and the other 2 are getting back into Starfield.
Okay.
So I'm
That,
still thinking on that.
that could be
Well,
fun.
hey, that's the ticket.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll say. So I had a chance to dip into, and for those of you that caught it, I did a pop-up races stream on Friday morning. But it went back and played a game that I have not played in a long, accentuate the long time. Like last year
Right.
sometime was the last time I streamed it. And that was Gran Turismo Sport. Wasn't Gran Turismo 7, it was just Gran Turismo Sport.
Hmm.
And every time I play Gran Turismo in general, I am perpetually and always amazed at the detail of that game. Like it was such a beautiful sim when it was put together that I could literally play it all day. Like I don't need to own. They've gotten a little bit wild with how many different Gran Turismos there are in the sense of like what hasn't there been like a total of 12 games or something like that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, Gran Turismo 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Gran Turismo Sport, and then Gran Turismo this and Gran Turismo that. So they've had a lot of different versions of it, but the quality of the game has never changed from dating back to I remember when you used to be able to get the code that would give you like either unlimited money or like $10 million, and you could go in and basically buy every car that was available to purchase, all the ones that you could buy but you couldn't win. And I had a library because remember we had those memory cards at the time. I had a library of well over like 200 cars, and yes, every single one of them motherfuckers was black because every garage and every Gran Turismo I've ever played, I buy every car and I make it black, and I get it in black because that's just the color I want my cars. So I have trucks, I have race cars, all of them black. And but yeah, it's just and then when you go into tweaking your car to make it to how it drives and being able to tweak your suspension and what type of tires you use and your rims and just again, I love Midnight Club. I love the games of that ilk. The top tier of that ilk is Gran Turismo. It always has been and it always will be. Do
Okay.
you guys have any thoughts on the Gran Turismo series?
Well, I'm always gonna be, because I tell you, I will fuck with cars when it comes to racing. Um, I'm a Gran Turismo guy. I'm more Gran Turismo than Forza, but I'm also more Need for Speed than any of them. And I mean, it's a simulation, and then you have arcade. But when it comes to driving sims, I mean, Gran Turismo is always going to be the way to go.
Yeah, one of
I
the
mean,
elite ones for sure.
yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Forza's that business too, though.
Yeah.
Like
It's a
Forza
different
be,
type of fun. Like
yeah,
like Forza definitely took their sandbox method of racing games and made it extremely fun. Like Forza to me is like Grand Theft Auto meets Gran Turismo. Like that's what Forza is to me. And so not in the sense of like you can get
yeah,
out and
yeah,
you
yeah.
can
No,
kill hookers and all the rest of that like with Gran Turismo, but just the there's definitely a much more cartoonish nature to Forza than there is to Gran Turismo. Um, and so
you
as much,
think?
yeah, I definitely feel like there's definitely more of a like story driven type thing, whereas Gran Turismo focuses more on the cars and on the racing. There really isn't much storyline wise to play through in Gran Turismo, but there is in Forza. Like there in the singles mode there are little what I say you can drive in the sandbox in the open world type environment and run and get missions from this guy and from that guy and go do this and go do that. At least the most recent Forza that I played, you could do that type of stuff. So I was like, okay, they kind of went away from the straight simulation, which is what Gran Turismo is, into a more story driven type racing game. Like I said, I think along the lines of Midnight Club. Like a lot of our viewers may not be old enough to remember Midnight Club, but that was a very good racing sim game. But it had definitely a much more like street racing, like storyline driven play to it.
Midnight Club, was it three?
Hmm.
The remix?
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are all extremely good games. All right, so Dave, you got anything for us or?
Um, just a last thought, something I just thought of, um, is okay. So Aspire, game publishing company. They basically take older games and they convert them to newer platforms,
Remasters.
Yeah.
remasters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the big things that they have is they have the old LucasArts license,
Uh,
and they basically got a collection for the Nintendo Switch that's um, Knights of the Old Republic,
hmm.
Jedi Knight 1 and 2, and just a whole bunch. It's a 7-in-1 game chip for your Switch for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, 100%.
Where the fuck is Rogue Squadron?
I don't
you
know.
know what?
I mean,
I will. You know what? Now, don't get me wrong, because recently, as a matter of fact, I don't know. I think my homeboy Brian, RPG Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he actually acquired that not too long ago.
Did he?
You talked
but
about
there's the
you talked about Rogue Squadron.
N64 Rogue Squadron. There
Yeah,
were 3 games in the series. Okay,
yeah.
I
There was,
mean,
I believe one of them is was recently hit consoles, and because I kind of like it was a hit and miss. I believe.
yeah,
Let me double check that. Let me double check it though.
yeah. But no, so far, nothing on Rogue Squadron. No remake. No remake of X-wing or Tie Fighter or X-wing versus Tie Fighter.
Wow. They're just saying that whole
Yeah,
series,
them
huh?
some old ass them some now you kind of going like you going
Yeah,
back into the archives of that shit because I
yeah,
remember TIE fighters. I never did like the X-Wing game. No,
Yeah.
I was kind of like team Empire at that point.
Uh, well, all
Yeah.
right.
yeah. So anyway, just my random thoughts for the day is
Oh,
There you
like,
go.
there is quickly one
Sure.
thing that I do want to put out before the next announcement I'm gonna make. Um, this game, it's free to play.
Mm.
It's really good, and it's on all platforms. And I think I don't know if Steam is on there, but it's definitely PC. It's a game called The First Descendant,
Okay.
and it's really really good. Story details is still kind of funky or what have you, but it's a shoot and loot. And when you sell your, when you start
Yeah.
picking up the stuff, man, the game levels up pretty fast. And it is definitely crossplay because, again, I played briefly, even though it's kind of fucked up. I tried to play a session with Roxy,
Mm.
and it came from the Xbox end, or it was just with the servers, or whatever the fuck it was. But the game is really, really good, and I highly recommend that if you do it free, because I don't really do free to plays except for multiverses right now.
Okay.
But I'm definitely all about that game right there. It's some hot shit.
All
Trust me.
right.
Trust the science, man. Trust the science.
Uh, all right. So Saint recommends again. All right. So as we usually do, we close out with "Where will you be?" and we'll start with you, Rune Squire. Where can we see you next, sir?
well, provided that the temperatures in my house are not in the low and slow grilling territory
Uh,
tonight. Uh, I'll be back on Uden Chronicles later tonight at midnight Pacific time.
all right. And Saint, you got an announcement for them regarding
Okay.
MVT dues?
Well, regarding NBT do so, this, of course, you guys know tonight, because I mean, I'll make it again tonight. As a matter of fact, it'll probably be visually speaking up tonight. But of course, you guys know that 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. Once again, is NBT Deuce. We're definitely going to be starting, but I just got a confirmation that returning back to MBT Deuce, and for the first time actually on Twitch, I am going to be having Mr. Chris Jasper,
Nice.
formerly of the Isley Brothers,
Mhm.
and we will be doing this show next week, Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, and we are going to have a good conversation because, well, I haven't talked to him. The last time I talked to him was about maybe 3 years ago, and I'm hoping that I will bring my other co-host to return back. So we'll see how it happens.
All right.
But that's definitely a confirmation.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'll make my announcement right now. Uh, Thursday will be my final stream for this week with MLB Thursdays. Next weekend, I have a Father's Day present I must go cash in, and I'm going to see the Jabberwockies in Vegas with a good friend. So I won't be around to be able. There will be no KD5P next week. There will be no Final Fantasy and Yu-Gi-Oh stream, and there will be no Classroom or Cheap Pop, unfortunately, next weekend, folks. You'll have to catch us again in 2 weeks. But we do have that big interview with Chris Jasper coming up with the Saint next week.
Oh yeah,
So,
because that Monday, and then of course, July 15th.
yeah, it's his birthday.
You guys already know.
So,
It's 55, baby,
there you
55.
go. Congratulations. Give a shout out to the Saint. I'll be on with Madden Mondays on that day. But be sure to give a shout out to Agent K28 and his old ass. Anyway, all right, so where you can catch me next today is going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern with the one and only O'Malley. You saw the commercial during the commercial block with the Classroom. And as always, that commercial you saw for KD5P is for the replay on Thursday at 3:20. You can catch us again on Tuesday at 9:35, or not 9:35, Tuesday at 12:45. You can catch this episode again. Not this upcoming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. And yeah, be sure to join us.
Okay.
This has been the Cheap Pop Podcast here on Twitch TV /First GenXers. And we will see you guys next time. Be safe.
All right.
Love one another. Peace.
Peace out.
Later.